Okay, so just a couple quick things again in Photoshop. We're going to go ahead and edit our About Us page a little bit more. We're just going to play around with it. I'm going to show you a couple more tools. Here's our marquee tool. And what you can do with that is, it's just a simple thing. We'll create a layer above our background layer. Like let's say you wanted to put a box in front of this. You could go ahead and this will switch because you have a foreground and a background color here in your color palette. So we're going to go ahead and switch to the white, but we're going to go ahead and select a different shade of green to put behind this. So as you can see, here's our selection. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and here's a tool here called our paint bucket tool. It might be hidden by the gradient tool, so you'll see this gradient, but you can just go ahead and click on it and switch to the paint bucket tool. We're going to go ahead and select this, and as you can see, we could fill it in. Now, another thing is we could go to select and deselect it. So now it's not selected anymore. Now let's say we wanted to do the opposite of that. I'm going to go into my history and go back to where I just have it selected. So let's say we just created this selection. You can go ahead and inverse it. You just go to select and inverse, and it's going to select everything but that. So then I could fill this in and just leave that box. That's not what we're going to do either. So I'm going to go ahead and go back to where it's just a box. It's not inversed. I'm going to fill this in, and I'm going to show you another trick. So we're going to go ahead and select, deselect, because we don't want to be selected anymore. And what we can do here is, bear with me here. Is select a layer, come here and go to layer, go to layer style, blending options. Once again, let me show you that really quick. You select a layer, let's say we're on this text layer. You can go to layer, layer style, blending options. And you have all these options here for you to select from. But the ones you're mostly going to use are probably the drop shadow. But you can play around with them and just see what they do. All you got to do is be selected on there. And what that did is it added a drop shadow to our text. So we can go ahead and lower the opacity of it so it's not quite as bright. We can change the angle that it's going to. We can change the distance that it is from the text, the spread, the size. And we'll go ahead and click OK. Now let's say you had another layer of text coming soon. What you could do here is you could come and select this layer, right click it and copy layer style, and then go to this layer, right click it and paste layer style. And it's going to take the same effects that you had here and put it on this image. Another thing that we can do is we're going to go to this boxed image. Another option in the blending options, like once again we go to, we go to layer, make sure we're on the layer we want to be on, layer style, blending options, or if you wanted, what we could do is select stroke. It automatically defaults to a red stroke around the box. We don't want that, so what we're going to do is come in here into color, select a black one, click OK. It's still a little bit too big. You can make it even bigger, or you can make it about 1 pixel, which is about what I think looks good. Then you can go ahead and click on drop shadow and add a drop shadow to your box. And that's just how you do a few things with layer styles. Another thing that we have is our crop tool if you wanted to crop something. Make the image there. See, we have the opacity here. You can make that lighter so you can see what you're cropping, or you can make it dark so you don't see what you're cropping. You might want to make it so you see. You can stretch it out wherever you want. So if you wanted to do that, you can go ahead and hit return, and it's going to crop your image. Oh, I don't want to do that right now, so we're going to go back. Another tool is the eraser tool. You can come in here, no matter, you have to be on the layer. Let's say we're on this layer. You can go ahead and erase, and you're only going to erase what's on that layer. So notice I didn't get rid of the Edcalis, it only erased the layer that I was selected on. Another tool is the hand tool, which will, if you stretched out your window, or you had a really big file, like you were zoomed in, you can use the hand tool to move around. And then let me show you the zoom tool. You can click on the zoom tool, and right here you can either be zoom in or zoom out. So we're going to zoom out. You can just click it and it'll zoom out. We're going to zoom in, click zoom in. Let's say we would just want to see what's right here. We can click zoom in, or when we want to zoom out, we click zoom out and click on the page. You can always hit so that's how you zoom in and out. It's fairly easy. You just don't want to zoom out too far, otherwise you're going to have to resize your window. It can be a pain in the butt. Just like so. So those are just a few more tools that will help you out in Photoshop.